Episode 6 of X-Men 97 was definitely not as good as the previous episode, but like episode 4, you do feel like this is building up. It's filling in more details, it's covering other story arcs, especially with all the stuff. But there was so much that happened in this episode, I really have to go in. I mean, we went from the Shi'ar Empire all the way to Storm and Forge and her getting her powers back, and then by the end of the episode, you realize, oh wait, we're still at the end of the episode 5's point in the timeline. Chronologically, 5 and 6 seem to have played almost during the same time periods, but definitely ended around the same time period. But let's go through this. Man, the Shi'ar Empire thing was so cool. Like, I know we've seen the Skrulls versus the Kree, but never have we seen the Shi'ar versus the Kree. And man, there was no chance. I mean, you got two of the Summers twins, boys there, being Havoc and Vulcan. You have kind of like a Goliath guy. He was like huge. He could like do the whole Ant-Man thing and grow big. But you also had Goliath and not Goliath. Sorry. Oh no. I can't remember his name. The big purple dude. Gladiator. Man, that dude is so good looking in this series. Like, originally in the animated series, he was like, but in this, they paid special extra attention. I can't wait to see him versus some of the other characters that could come up. Like, we need a live action version of him, as well as the whole Shi'ar group we just saw. That was really intense. And Ronan just getting his ass beat. That was well worth seeing, but ooh, I bet you that heel into his cheek hurt. But Deathbird ain't no one to play around with. You know, when Xavier almost becoming the Emperor, then them telling him that you gotta give up your memories of Earth, your life there, your X-Men, all of this is like, Jesus, really? Like, that was intense kind of stuff. But that sets up a whole thing I'm gonna get to later on. But he's on the way back, which brings in a question now. Now that we can fully verify he's actually still alive and they didn't change the animated series ending, who made everyone remember him dying instead of going to the Shi'ar Empire? Like, it's like the Shi'ar Empire never got involved and he died in the bed. Like, that's really interesting. But in any case, you know, it's the main thing that's weird is like something's going on. Somebody erased some memories or changed memories, because it's a little weird that Magneto, Cyclops, and like Jean Grey and Madeline Pryor don't know he's still alive. Like, something's up. I'm really curious to see where that ends up going. Man, the creature messing with Storm is like kind of impressive. Like, it's playing off of her fears and her self-doubt and all of her regrets. And I started to wonder, is this thing even real? Like, even when it bit Forge, I don't know, everything was just too perfect. It's like, oh, go to this place to find this cactus. And yes, I made you bring me with you because I knew you don't like tight spaces, meaning she had to overcome that just to be able to heal him. So it's like, overcome your fears or your new love interest dies. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like a lot of subconscious elements to what she was going through. And therefore it made it to where, you know, it kind of came off like it was a self-test, but then it sometimes seemed almost like, oh, and I don't remember him, but like that evil spirit from the Shadow Realm or whatever it was called, that they fought, I think, in season 1 of the original animated series. It was when Storm went back to visit her home village with Rogue and her kind of adopted son-like character that has super speed. He kind of got possessed by this creature, and it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, but totally different. It might actually be the same thing, just using a different, less recognizable form. But we'll have to see. Because it didn't do much once Storm faced her fears and gained her powers back. Like, is it just me? Or is it the black suit? But she seems way more powerful than she has been. And don't get me wrong, those first 2 episodes show her flinging 30 of them sentinels in the air, ripping them to shreds with like ice shards and glass bits from her lightning, and striking the sand with lightning, creating glass. Like, dude, the respect they're finally putting on her is great. Same with Cyclops and really everyone. They're showing so much respect for every character. Like all those people that said, oh, this theory's going to be woke, it's going to be stupid, Disney is failing. God, I would say eat your words, but go eat something that you, drop off and flush, because your opinion is equal to it. When did Forge learn magic? Like, am I just missing that, or is this kind of an adaptation? And it's weirdly, like, very Doctor Strange looking magic. So it's sorcery, it's not witchcraft, if we're following the same rules of the MCU, which even in a multiverse, those things, kind of forces of reality, would function differently. So I'm assuming his mother was a sorcerer and a sorceress, and he's picking up on it. But we'll have to see. That was kind of thrown off, and I'm still questioning whether that whole experience was real, or at least how much of it was real. Their relationship is interesting. It's almost like, controller of nature, controller of technology. It's like a blending of the two opposite worlds. And so it's definitely interesting. And I'm glad that she forgave him, because like it's probably been eating him alive from the inside out about all this as a problem, Like he caused a lot of this incidentally by making that technology. Man, and Deathbird wanting Charles to forget everything. Like that was messed up, but Charles started doing it until he hesitated with the X-Men, and then, Deathbird's like, see, he's hesitating. And like, man, she tried to sit there and dethrone her sister, and Lilandra was like, not having it. Gladiator, dude, he's basically like cosmic purple Superman. And like, what were they thinking they were going to do against him? Like, sorry, he's there to prevent you from being able to do anything. Unless you got someone like the Phoenix, Sentry, Hyperion, Adam Warlock, someone up on that level. Gladiator ain't got to worry about anything. Oh, dude. When Xavier's like crawling around because he got his leg sliced by Deathbird, he was just like, oh, wait, I must use my powers that I haven't done before. I forgot I'm him. And just everyone's in the astral plane in a classroom setting. And yeah, professors, school's in session. Like freaking Deathbird interrupting him and him just popping an apple in her mouth. Like I had to actually go back and watch that scene because I laughed so hard I forgot what Charles said. And he was like, demerits, raise your hand, and pops an apple in her mouth. And it's just like, dude, she shut up. She had no ability to really do anything at that point. But like, man, I am kind of wondering how far this worldwide thing is going. Because, like, all the mutants aren't allowed to go back home. If they went to Genosha, that's where they are. And they're probably being run out of their homes so that they can go to Genosha. But Genosha just got fucked up in episode 5. Like, we're not sure how many people all died. But, like, dude, members of the Hellfire Club, which is actually the kind of political leadership now of Genosha. You have Magneto, who basically tried his best to protect the Morlocks. But him and the Morlocks just gone. You got Gambit, gone. Who knows who else? Like, did Madeline Pryor die? Like, I want to date and go back to Cable when he said, I'm sorry, Mom. I wonder what he's trying to prevent. Like, he's about to be doing time loops to go back. Like, I do feel that now that we're caught back up to the end of episode 5, my prediction would be next episode, we're going to be experiencing Cable. And I heard someone mention that, if you go back to the original animated series when they're on Genosha originally, Cable's there randomly. And, like, what if we could actually get to see Cable go back there and he's like, oh, man, I'm new. I'm the youngest version you've come across. So, basically, I accidentally fucked up and went too far back. And then I went too far and I was too late the next time. So, maybe that's what's going on. But I'm interested to see that. I think next episode we're going to be seeing something about Cable. And I hope it does trace back. A lot of stuff has tied back to the original series that I didn't expect it to. But, man, when it flashes back to Charles and educating everybody, and all of a sudden it's like Gambit appears. Everyone dies from the same green energy blast from the Sentinels. Everyone's just a skeleton. It's like, oh, so that's what happened to Magneto and the Morlocks. Like, whew, that's brutal. But yeah, no, he's coming back, and we're gonna get to see what's the whole deal. And like, if he finds out Lilandra or someone around her erased changed the memories of his X-Men and everybody on Earth to remember him as dying, oh god, we might actually get to see an angry Xavier. And that would be kind of interesting to see once. Not like Onslaught level, but angry Charles. Yeah, I want to see that. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about Sinister being behind Genosha, even though I know he's supposed to be the big bad of this series, and they've been hinting at it in the intro since the first episode. But I feel like Apocalypse doesn't make much sense. I feel like the best idea would be like, yeah, have some plot going on, have Sinister manipulating it, or Apocalypse manipulating it, but this is a Friends of Humanity thing, and the series kind of has dropped them off the board ever since those first couple episodes. We haven't seen them. So I wonder what's going on with that. It's definitely going to be interesting, and now we do know how Gyrich was able to not be involved, but still be controlling, still allow someone to control those Sentinels. And man, I want to know what's up with that, like, kaiju-sized Sentinel, man, with 3 heads. Like, that's intense. That looks nothing like what we saw in the first couple episodes in that desert battle. I don't know, but man, nice seeing Storm get that respect in that episode and more recently. But yeah, no, this series continues to get better, and it's leading to some interesting things. Like, I really hope we get to see all of the Summers family together, including Madeline Pryor. Just bring them all together, have the X-Men, have a huge showdown at the end. And don't forget Cyclops' father. But, until next week, next episode, catch you later.